Hello, welcome to the Humanity Leadership Podcast. I'm David Wheatley, and we're here to talk all things leadership.
Well, welcome to another Humanity Leadership Podcast. And I've got a different story again for you this week. And this is featured in Humanity's blog in July of 2019. And it's been a story I've been telling people for a long time. It's going to be a bit different, so you might enjoy it, you might not. It's a fun one. You can actually listen to this with your kids if you like. I'll try to put on my best bedtime story voice so you can appreciate it, value that. This is a story that comes out of a lot of work that I've done with folks as they've taken on new roles or they've become a new employee in an organization. And it's called Moo, Leadership in a Literal Field. So Daisy is a cow. She just got a new field. Daisy's excited and a little anxious about the new field. On the first day, Daisy's anxiety caused her to stick pretty much to the middle of the field. Emily, the farmer, left her alone to find her own way. A few days later, Daisy realized that the grass immediately around her was eaten away, and the ground was getting muddy. This increased her anxiety, and she started to worry that she was being a good cow or not. She wondered how big the field was, but was afraid to move for fear of making a mistake or upsetting the farmer. Farmer Emily had been looking over at Daisy's field and noticed the ground was getting muddy around her. Emily wondered why Daisy wasn't moving from the same spot. People told her that Daisy was a good cow, so Emily decided to leave her alone to figure it out, and Emily went back to the hayfield. At the end of the first week, Daisy had run out of grass in the middle of the field and was starting to look thin and gaunt. Farmer Emily was starting to get frustrated that Daisy wasn't moving and therefore not eating. Emily thought about saying something, but then got busy fixing the tractor. Daisy started to cry. She didn't know what to do. She was hungry, scared, and standing in a big muddy puddle. As Daisy was crying, a large bird soared over her head. Daisy noticed a shadow and then saw the bird land just in front of her. "Are you okay?" asked the bird. "I will be, I'm sure," sniffled Daisy. "Why are you not moving from that one spot?" the bird wondered. "I don't know how big the field is and I'm too scared to move," Daisy whimpered. "Have you asked the farmer?" inquired the bird. Daisy thought about this. A little bit later, in a neighboring field, the bird was in a neighboring field and happened to see Farmer Emily. The bird hopped over and said, "Excuse me, are you the farmer who runs the field over there?" "Yes," said Emily. "The one with the cow that won't move?" "Have you asked her why she's not moving?" asked the bird. Emily thought about this. Later that day, Emily approached the field and saw Daisy standing still in the same spot. "Are you okay?" she asked. "I'm hungry and embarrassed. I don't know what to do. I don't know how big the field is and I'm scared," moaned Daisy through tears and sniffles. "Well, I'm sorry you're upset. Your field goes all the way to the fence. I want you to use the whole thing. There's nothing in the field to fear. In fact, if you get to the fence and you still want more, we can talk about making the field bigger," said Emily. Daisy sheepishly responded, "I don't want to bother you by asking. I thought you might be mad. And I kept wondering why you weren't moving and didn't want you to feel like I was micromanaging you," replied Emily with a reddening face. "You always can feel free to come and talk to me if you have concerns or issues, or even if you see some better opportunities in another field. I'll check in with you regularly to see if you need to be doing anything differently, if I need to be doing anything differently to help you. Thanks for having this conversation." "Thank you," replied Daisy with relief. "Please let me know if I'm getting too close to the fence or doing anything you don't like." "I will," said Emily. "I promise to let you know if you're about to cross the line. But you need to keep pushing the boundaries of the fence. I want you to have a bigger field, the biggest field you can cope with." A shadow crossed the ground and a bird smiled. That's my Daisy story. And if you read the blog, I'm hoping that you can work your own morals from that, but we gave you a few teasers anyway. And the reason I came up with that story is that as a new leader or having new people, I encourage you to have multiple open conversations about what the boundaries and expectations are and opportunities are for those new people. Too many times I hear people being thrown in and left to deal with it, and they end up standing in a muddy puddle unless you get lucky and somebody steps out there. It's the leaders and the direct reports' responsibility to keep those communication lines open and build a conduit of communication. And we also need to pay attention to other perspectives, like the birds, and take their feedback too. I hope you enjoyed Daisy and our story Moo, and let me know what you think. I appreciate any comments or send me a note. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Humanity Leadership Podcast. I'm David Wheatley, and we're brought to you by the book, What Great Teams Do Great, available now at all good bookstores. Thanks to Brian Spencer and Finkel for the music. Please share any feedback and suggestions. I'm available through humanity.com. And go to iTunes, like, subscribe, and leave us a review so that other people can find us. In the meantime, till next time we meet, stay healthy.